What's up YouTube? So before we get talking about the Fimi Palm and the new features, and I've got some photos for you, just wanted to talk about the last video I did about the Pocket 2 where I complained about some of the features. DJI support actually commented in the thread of that video, and you can go and check the conversation. They just said, sorry, can you send us the log files and everything, which is nice to know that they're actually watching people's videos and they're actually taking feedback and criticism and they're trying to make it better. So let's hope when I get my Pocket 2 back, it's actually fixed and rectified and I can carry on testing the thing. DJI, if you're watching this channel right now, let's talk 1-inch sensor, Pocket Pro version, 1-inch sensor, Hasselblad. Let's get this going. Let's brainstorm this. Let's knock it out. Let's have it by maybe early next year. That'd be fantastic. Now, it actually means they could be watching me right now with a sniper rifle. I'm not quite sure, but let's hope they like the channel. And DJI, we love your work. So AliExpress has got the Fimi Palm on sale on the 23rd of November. I believe the date is the 23rd of November. I must say thank you to Dan Zilch. He's the guy who put me onto this, but the Fimi Palm 2. So thanks Dan, but it does look like it's Xiaomi and it does look like the Fimi Palm 2. And there's a couple interesting features that we're going to go through today. First of all, the design does look a lot different to, the Osmo Pocket 2 looked kind of similar. The Fimi Palm still has a 128-degree field of view on the new version. And it looks like it only shoots 4K up to 30 frames per second, 2.7K, I think it's 60 frames per second, 100 megabits per second. Apparently the field of view is slightly better and enhanced, so we'll see if that actually works. But now the Fimi Palm 1 wasn't the best camera in the world, but it did have some good features. Now the new one will actually have a built-in microphone jack, which is a nice improvement because I'll tell you what, that's the smallest setup that you can get with a built-in microphone jack that is a gimbal that has built-in Wi-Fi at the lowest possible price you could imagine. $199 US. That's pretty cheap, and they might do a few firmware updates along the way on that camera, so it's going to be pretty interesting. And how's the Osmo Pocket looking, by the way? Now it's kind of interesting that they got a built-in microphone jack on that camera. If you remember my H Pocket design of the past, I actually put the microphone jack on the back of the camera just below the gimbal. Not sure if that's a good spot, and according to the photos, Fimi Palm is also going to use that same spot for their mic jack. So that's a small system. You've got built-in Wi-Fi, you've got tracking, you've got a microphone jack, you've got a wide field of view. You don't have the best image quality. We'll see how that Sony sensor performs, but I'm going to buy it so you don't have to buy it. I'm such a martyr.
There's a small little touch sensitive button on the top which will switch it between front-facing recording and selfie mode. Kind of a nice design. And you'll be happy to know that the old noisy joystick from Fimi Palm 1 has been removed and replaced with a quieter one.
So the new Fimi Palm is advertised as having a 1/2.6-inch sensor, and that's exactly the same sensor. However, they advertise it as a new improved Sony sensor. So it's going to be kind of interesting, right? $200 US, which is a lot of money in some ways, and a lot of people don't even spend $200 on a small camera. But if you consider the Osmo Pocket costs you roughly $500 US, I think, for the Creator combo, it's quite a lot of money. And so the Fimi Palm will appeal to quite a few people. And since it's got that built-in mic jack, you could do things like this, and your sound's going to be good, and you're going to be able to carry less adapters. So this is the image quality you get out of the Fimi Palm, and for a cheap, affordable camera, I've got an external microphone on this thing at the moment. I've got a 128-degree field of view without even using a selfie stick. So you tell me, is it really worth not trying this thing out? Is that a bird that's going to attack me? This is the birds are flying around my head at the moment. So the Fimi Palm 2 is also allegedly going to have a little bit better sound. Apparently it's got some kind of built-in denoiser on the actual camera. Again, this is a cheap, affordable camera, so how good is the sound really going to be? But if you can mount that external microphone, it seems to me that it might be using the same sensor as the Sony FDR X3000, but that's just speculation at this point. That's quite an old camera, so I'm not sure if they're going to use it, but
just like the previous Fimi Palm, you'll still have smart tracking. We're not sure if this is only going to be face tracking at this stage, but hopefully they improve it and maybe you can even track some objects.
Improved battery life. The old Fimi Palm had a 1000 milliamp battery. This one's going to have a 2600 milliamp battery, so quite an improvement there. And apparently that's going to allow you to record for 308 minutes in 1080p 30 frames per second, which isn't bad. So even if you can get 2.5 hours out of that camera, you'd be pretty happy with that.
The Palm 2 will also have a 1/4-inch tripod mount right on the bottom, as well as the built-in microphone jack as we have already discussed. You'll also be able to do motion lapse, time lapse and hyperlapse, and this is the same as before, but we'll have to see if the new sensor gives us any better results with the zoom, panoramas and all of these different shooting features.
It's a little bit unfortunate that Fimi Palm didn't go all out and give us a really good sensor. Maybe they just went for it and got that 1-inch sensor technology working and worked for it for 12 months or so and actually gave us a 1-inch sensor. But I think some company is going to do it. I'm just not sure who. So if Fimi Palm actually pull this off, it might be worth considering, especially if you don't have that much money and you don't want to waste a lot of money. So maybe have a look at this Fimi Palm when it comes out. We're obviously going to buy it, and I'm going to do some test videos on that thing. So before you waste your money, maybe just wait for my video or whatever. I don't really care anyway, but shame. There's a little ad here for a lost dog. His name's Charlie. If you've seen this dog, contact David. None of these companies appear to want to give us a 1-inch sensor. If I had the money, I'd start my own company and I'd distribute that 1-inch sensor affordably. $350 US, 1-inch sensor, little gimbal, pocket sized. We'd probably sell millions. Trump style, we'd sell millions. We'd do great.
So it's a 1/2.6-inch sensor, which is apparently a Sony sensor and improved. It's 14mm f2.4, and you can see the resolutions at the bottom there, the same as before really. Now this is a really tiny camera considering you get a built-in mic jack and Wi-Fi, so it's worth testing I think.